Hey guys, and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today I wanted to go over the Reverse the Verse post-CitizenCon special edition that CIG have done, as well as going into some of the information that was given by Ben Lesnick on BatGirls Bensday episode 63. I've condensed it all down into some easily manageable info jam for you to listen to, links to everything, and an article in the description. So, the CitizenCon post-special edition thing, they are planning on cargo transfer and the ability to undock ships between the 3.0 and 3.1 patches. It could just be snubs that are in at first, but this could also be more. There will be multiple solutions to missions and problems and NPC interactions. You're kind of going to be able to make your own decisions on exactly how you want to play. Faction standing and reputations will affect friendliness and the ability to use landing pads or locations, or give you more options in missions, for example. You could, for example, as well, distract enemies with explosions or remote detonating something to distract them as well. There's going to be loads of options for you to complete those missions. This is all part of a longer-term AI and AI subsumption scheme that they have in progress. The Cutlass Black rework is coming at the same time or before the Cutlass Red and Cutlass Blue flyable rollout. Fleet view and management for Orgs 2.0 and that sort of stuff. So functions and features of the website will be rolled into the Star Citizen Spectrum, what was Orgs 2.0, coming within the next 9 to 12 months. These are features as well like real-time notifications. Fleet view is coming in the future, but they have no real details of when. But all those management features, all those functions that the website currently has, and some of the other ones they were talking about will be coming in. But all of those Org 2.0 features or the Communication Platform 2.0 features that we know about are now known as Star Citizen Spectrum. What we saw from Gamescom and CitizenCon's demo tech-wise is all going in Alpha 3.0. We should actually see it a lot more polished and expanded further. They talk about system specs as well. I've got a fully detailed video on all the system specs and some of the behind the scenes for CitizenCon stuff. I'll link that in the description as well. They are working to a unified network model, so no shared instances, just one universe you'll move around in. That's the top end goal. But you'll be seamlessly moved around and across servers that you will be looking at, like, in specific areas. So, in a single system might be run by 4 different servers, which you'll all be in, but you move to a different system, you're going to be on a different server effectively. Short term, they're going to be updating the low-level networking code in 3.0. That's known as Star Network 1.0. They are also working to get as many players in as possible with that update and future updates. And this update, the Star Network, will give them a performance boost and make the network code much more efficient. Longer term, though, they're going to be using server meshing and all this like high-level server stuff to allow thousands of players in a single area. That's the idea anyway. That's the top-end goal. They have instancing, obviously, now with Arena Commander and persistence in the PEU and being able to save player states, and this sort of stuff that they're talking about isn't too much of a stretch. Next year, we should be seeing tests of this unified, larger model for networking. At the moment as well, they're talking about working out how to deal with bottlenecks of players talking to mission givers and NPCs if they have everyone in the same area, as it were, or a lot of players in the same area. And this is obviously going to be a massive raise from the 24 players we have at the moment in Arena Commander and the 40 players we have in ArcCorp. We're not going to be able to jump drive or quantum jump like they did in the editor demo from CitizenCon, where they jumped from atmosphere to atmosphere of another planet. That was just for the editor or the CitizenCon demo to speed stuff up. That's not the intention that you'll be able to do that. Spectrum will be involved and influenced heavily by the backers. As with most of it, it's open game development, and they're looking at chatbot integration for that. So people's feedback for Spectrum, people's ideas for chatbots, and that sort of stuff will get looked at and hopefully implemented if they're good. Our Arena Commander and Star Marine are the arcade experience of Star Citizen. There will be ammo pickups from destroyed ships that you can reload yourself with. This isn't going to be kind of the instant pickup system for the PU. The PU is going to be very different. It's going to feel a lot more real. But as I said, the Arena Commander is an arcade experience. The pickups in that are for balance and quick action. They're to prevent you getting missiles back when you die. You have persistent missiles. You'll have to pick up new missiles from someone that you've just killed. That sort of stuff as a pickup. We should have planets in 3.0 at least roughly modelled around what they're intended to be in lore. They're going to be floating platforms on gas giants, mining bases, industrial and polluted planets. They're not going to be pure stock, like stock planets or placeholders. They're going to be very much so towards what we want in the final version, at least going in that direction. And they should be able to cover large amounts of planet surfaces with buildings using the tools they've got. They have a very massive GPU rendering technique that they use that allows them to render these massive areas and quite complex areas. The planets in Stanton will be at least to the quality of the CitizenCon. Obviously, they are all different. Some moons may still be barren, but to the look of them will continue to improve, and we should get a lot more polish than what we've already seen in when 3.0 comes out. They've moved the vector maths to 64-bit. This allows them to have high precision, such as millimeters, rather than meters in precision. It gives them the potential for more detail and higher numbers for huge spaces, huge detailed environments. Without that, they wouldn't be able to do this stuff on such a massive, seamless scale in super high detail on space and on the ground. The physics grids as well break down into the whole systems on a physics grid, then the planets and the ships, that sort of stuff. And those grids project effectively physics so that on your ship, for example, you're relative to the floor. But this is the same when you're on a planet's grid as well. When you're in that planetary grid, you're now relative to the planet. So you're actually in the planet's gravity and that sort of stuff. It allows them to simulate all the systems for planets, weather, and seeing the planet's curvature and being part of seeing the horizon, stations in the sky, mountains, weather systems in the distance. None of that's faked. That's all simulated and is actually there. You'll be able to see the rings moving on Port Olisar if you could see it up in the sky. Star Marine will eventually have AI, though unlikely to be in the first iteration, and we'll come more onto this a little bit later as well, because Ben does say something slightly different. They are working on PvP and a gameplay experience for 2.6 in that more PvP style, or in fact entirely on that PvP style. The first we shall see of proper AI on the ground will be in 3.0. Expect Vandal Swarm type wave modes, but obviously most certainly with humans and pilots and that sort of stuff on the ground. They want bases and stations to be protected eventually by AI in the PU that you can attack, or that they'll have security there to stop griefing and that sort of stuff. They want you to be able to pull your weapons out at a station and shoot someone, and for you to be punished for that, but also the potential for you to get away with that if you did it in such a way that there was no cameras, there was no guards around. Satterball is coming as well, but it's going to be a post 3.0 feature. Environmental hazards like weather, EMPs, lightning, interdiction tech, landmarks, and various other methods will be employed on planets to encourage your players to explore on the ground from using vehicles or on foot, rather than flying your ship everywhere and landing next to every location. You're going to have to move slightly further away, like we saw in the CitizenCon demo, and then travel there maybe by buggy or vehicle or on foot or whatever. Crew will have needs, NPC crew-wise. You will have to pay them. They'll need someone that they can eat. Overworking them could make them ask to get paid more or their leave, or their skills could start to get a debuff as they get tireder. But that was basically it from that RtV special edition. Again, links in the description below to the actual full video. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long. Let's move on to Bensday with Batgirl episode 63. Procedural planets was a feature that was supposed to be coming later on in the project, but it was ready much earlier than expected, allowing them to do much, much more. And the project is flexible enough to bend to the scope of these new features. A bit of confusion as well. Ben does talk about NPCs maybe being a part of Star Marine in 2.6, though I suspect that they won't be out until 3.0, as stated earlier, or at least they're not going to be in the first iteration of Star Marine, though we could be mistaken, and they could come out if they're ready. The merch on the Polaris brochure manual at the back was supposed to be filler and not real, though they are now doing a poll to possibly add some to the verse. The t-shirt is very likely to happen soon, though. They've discussed it. There should be a poll up at some point, maybe, but they are indeed researching whether that's a good thing to do for Star Citizen. Ship melting is not going to go away anytime soon. in the future, ships will be locked and melting will go away, but that is a way off yet. At this stage, when it does go away, you will have to sell your ship in-game to buy a new one, is the idea. The Urza rover currently has 4 standard cargo units of cargo space, and it can carry equipment. There should be a few other rovers, though, such as the Lynx, that might have more cargo space, or some other form of utility that might be more specialised to your particular needs. There's going to be options, basically, on ground transport. The list of the ships in the roadmap did not include new concepts or reworks. They were not listed. So there are another 7 to 8 roughly concepts that they've got planned for next year, for 2017, and there are going to be surprises on the way. There will be ships that we have yet to hear about in 2017 as well. The F-8 Lightning is still planned to be a heavy fighter, kind of that next generation of military fighter. The Polaris doesn't have any modules planned yet, so no huge swappable planned modules at the moment. Its role is quite focused at what it talks about being a torpedo kind of corvette, very military orientated. There was also a new show that Batgirl will be doing with Sophie Girl and Eden Star starting Monday too. I'll put a link to that as soon as I actually have a link to that. But there's links to everything we've discussed about, including the original videos, in the article that I will link in the description. Woo! So check those out and make sure you like and subscribe to those particular channels. Anyway, guys, I hope that helps you digest some of the extra news from the week. I'll be doing these quite regularly now. I think I'll do a proper news show every Saturday, and then like a news show extra every week, at least once, looking at some other bits and bobs like RtV and BatGirls Bensday and all that sort of jazz, and see what other outlets have been talking about as well. Anything that's newsworthy or I think is fun, anything I like, and I'll chuck in here as well. So yeah, there's loads of giveaways happening with myself and Redacted now as well. I'll link them all in the description as well. And remember to comment on any of my Star Citizen videos for a chance to win a Star Citizen ship each month. Normally I know exactly what that is. This month I'm not entirely sure. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the verse.